Kyle, come on, honey. I think you made the right choice. It's conservative yet stylish.
It's just not me, all right?
We are living a single, ooh, in the 90s kind of world. I'm glad I got my girls getting head up, boy, get head up, that's right. Let my left, let my right, it's true, it's just like you. Check it out, check it out. With a show now. Nailed it. Living Single, one of my favorite shows in ever. Showing black men's and black women's living together in a 90s kind of world. Being black professionals. One of the best shows ever. Has so many classic moments, so many classic episodes, but an episode people do not show love enough for, people do not talk about enough, is the episode from season 2, episode 13, A Hair-Razing Experience. Let's talk about it. So we start off the episode with Kyle looking like he just borrowed a sweater that was all the way in the back of Bill Cosby's closet as he borrows an encyclopedia from Khadijah as he's looking up things on Kenya because he's doing research for a presentation he's going to do for his firm as he hopes to get an African mutual fund.
I'm making my first presentation to the partners tomorrow.
So letting your boss whoop you behind the tennis really paid off, huh?
Yeah, but no, they're really excited about my idea for an African mutual fund. The continent's been pretty much ignored by the financial community, and I am going to be the man to capitalize on it.
As you can see, Kyle Barker is trying to move on up to the east side in a deluxe apartment in the sky. But Kyle doesn't look to only have success for himself, but pull up his own people in the process. So the big day is here, and no, I'm not talking about Chance the Rapper's flop of an album. No, the big day is here as Kyle finally presents his presentation to the higher-ups.
Gentlemen, here's a complete outline for my proposal. Now, knowing that the firm is always looking to develop emerging markets, my research shows that the next financial frontier is Africa.
By the way, Kyle, that's a handsome laser pointer.
Thanks. Sharper image, $129.95. But as I was saying, Africa is a continent poised for growth. We're looking at an economic expansion rate of over 30 to 40% within the next 12 months.
How can we assure our investors that Africa is a safe and stable market?
Well, it's about potential, Lawrence. I mean, with Nelson Mandela in office, the continent is more stable than ever. And remember our perception of Latin America in the 80s, and you know how much this firm makes off of Latin American investments today.
I know. Why do you think the cafeteria is having a salute to Costa Rica?
Exactly. And the African fund can be just as profitable, assuming we have a funds manager with great expertise and experience. I suggest myself.
That's a bit greedy, Kyle. Good for you.
Well, you gentlemen were my role models.
Well, on that note.
So, when can I expect to hear a decision?
When we tell you.
Hold up. Hey, for the niggas out thinking we soft, we don't. So here we get the first real introduction to what will be Kyle's adversary. And what was the nigga name? Byron? He looked like a Byron. I don't remember his name. It's not that important. We'll go with Byron for right now. I'm pretty sure I'll insert names somewhere in here and probably get it correct later. But here's where Byron inserts himself, thinking he little smarty pants, just because a brother want to ask, when can I expect to hear from y'all about my presentation? And you want to talk about when we say so? What? I ain't your kid. You don't give me no when I say so. Like, what? Who is you? It only was 3 seconds in, and already I was on my big show. But with you little stupid ass bitch, I'm fucking with you? The fuck? But Kyle moves on. Kyle keeps it player and moves on about his business. Now, the B-side plot of this episode is Khadijah, waiting for a phone call from Scooter, her part-time lover, as he is abroad, overseas, doing his thing with some type of musical group, and they're trying this long-distance thing, which ain't really thanging right now. So it's been a few days, and Kyle still hasn't heard anything from the higher-ups in regards to his presentation, and Kyle now is starting to sweat. And no, I'm not talking about that flop of an album from Nelly back in 2004. Even though I ain't gonna hold you that. Drop down and get your eagle on, girl. Hey, drop down and get your eagle on, girl. That was my joint, son. Like, that used to get the party lit back in the day. I ain't gonna mad at you. I ain't gonna hold you. So wait, what were you talking about? Oh yeah. Even though Kyle's starting to doubt himself and starting to get very anxious and nervous, he gets some wise advice from his watchdog, Bow Wow, in regards to what to do next.
Gotta be somebody down at the firm you can ask for advice. What about that brother Lawrence? We played poker with it.
Man, Lawrence is an egotistical, self-centered jackass.
When he's a jackass, you got access to.
I wonder if he's free for lunch.
That's right, his name was Lawrence. I was gonna go with bitch ass nigga, but that'll work too, I guess. But yeah, so Kyle goes to Lawrence in regards to why he thinks he hasn't heard anything back from the higher-ups regarding his presentation. And Lawrence had the nerve to say out his own mouth, it's because of your appearance. It's because of your hair. Now, of course, because it's coming from one of your own, you're going to believe that. And so Kyle starts to think maybe he should switch his style up and maybe switch his hair up.
Come on, honey. I think you made the right choice. It's conservative yet stylish.
It's just not me, all right?
So now Kyle has a dilemma. Should he sacrifice his hair to try to get ahead? Or should he stay true to himself and sacrifice his job? And while he's making this decision, he gets some advice from his friends that give different perspectives.
Kyle, you must know that when you work in the corporate world, sometimes you have to conform to get ahead.
So you would change your hairstyle?
Hell no. That's why I went into business for myself. I'm no one's puppet.
We all have to compromise sometimes. And if changing your hair means helping Africa and getting paid, I say snip, snip.
Regine makes a cogent point. But my dreads are an expression of my culture. If I change my hair, wouldn't that be selling out?
Kyle, you're a stockbroker. You're a sellout either way.
Kyle, maybe you should try working within the system just till you get into a position of power. And then you can tell everybody else how to wear their hair.
You know, I have worked too hard and come too far to let something like my hair hold me back now.
So Kyle gets advice from his friends, and they give both sides. They give the argument for both sides of maybe you should cut your hair. I mean, if this means that you get to give the mutual fund to Africa, then maybe that's something you just have to sacrifice in regards to your hair. And then there's the other side of don't be controlled and don't sacrifice yourself and don't be nobody's puppet, all to do this one thing to get ahead. Like, it's not worth it. So I love that they give both sides, and that's an everyday struggle that all of us black folks and black professionals trying to move up in the corporate world has to deal with. We're always being told and trying to be controlled in regards to who we are and what we are, and nobody else knows what it's like to try to be stripped of your identity more than black folks in America, because everything we do seems to intimidate and is misunderstood. And as Kyle is trying to make his decision, he now is haunted in his own dreams.
Kyle, that's an impressive presentation.
However, there's one little adjustment you can make.
Anything.
The tie.
I like it.
Of course, the suit must go.
Hey, I'm a team player. Nice fabric, and The shoes work.
Something's missing.
I don't know about this.
So Kyle has a nightmare to where he gets stripped of his suit and puts on a clown suit instead while giving his presentation, that being a metaphor for what he'll be doing if he cuts his hair to get ahead. So after this nightmare, Kyle decides to call a meeting with the higher-ups to address the issue head-on in regards to his hair.
When I joined this firm about 3 years ago, I believed it to be a place where a person advanced because of his or her ability. But I've come to realize that this firm values the superficial over the substantial. But I cannot violate my personal integrity. My hair is not just for fashion. It's part of my heritage. It is a statement of pride. A statement, by the way, which could show our clients that this firm is not only progressive when investing its money, but also progressive when investing in its people. So, gentlemen, whether you decide to promote me or not, I will not change my hair.
So Kyle has made his decision. He is not willing to risk making it up the corporate ladder, risk making more money, risk his bank account in order to appease the higher-ups because of what it means, what his hair means, what the locks mean. And I'm not talking about the great hip-hop group, the Locks, but what his hair means to him is more than just a hairstyle. It's his heritage. It's his pride in who he is and where he's from. And if you're not down with that, he got 2 words for you. Suck it. But then come to find out, the higher-ups had no issue with his hair. It was brought up, but they didn't bring up the issue of the hair. They're cool with it. It just so happens to be the one man that brought the issue to Kyle in the first place that had the issue.
Lawrence?
Well, you know I feel it's not in keeping with the company image.
You really need to loosen up. We were going to save this for the board meeting, Kyle, but we're going to go ahead with the project and promote you to funds manager.
So even though Kyle's hair was an issue that was brought up, it wasn't that big of an issue because of how important Kyle's presentation was, and he actually does get promoted to funds manager as Kyle stands up for himself in the midst of stupidity. So there you have it. You have the tale of 2 different types of men. One man who stood up for himself, one man who stayed true to his beliefs and still made it up the corporate ladder and got promoted. Meanwhile, you have another person in that same position that tried to conform, tried to get his other people to conform. And it's sad because he actually believed that he was helping. And what I love about this episode is that it was a black person that actually brought up the issue of the hair. It wasn't the prototypical white guy to bring it up or white girl to bring it up. Because sometimes when you're trying to make it, it can be your own people that try to bring you down because they have been brainwashed for so long that, in the words of Jay-Z, still nigga. And sometimes they don't realize how much of a house Negro they truly are. And again, the highlights of this episode for me was when Kyle brought the issue to his friends and they gave a different perspective because that's real life. Things like this go on all the time. What's sad is that things like your hair is just one thing that could be the reason for why you don't see so many black faces in higher positions. And what's also sad is lots of times black professionals don't even get the courtesy of getting that conversation of why they didn't get the promotion, why they didn't get the job, why they didn't get certain things. And it's because of stupid things such as hair, clothes, speech. We're the only entity that has tried to be stripped away of everything of who we are because of how much that we intimidate and are misunderstood by others. And I love this episode because it showed that sometimes if you stay true to yourself, if you stand up for yourself, that you can win. So in the future, when Kyle is the guy that's approving or disapproving projects, and he sees another Kyle or maybe a Khadijah that's in the same vein as him, he won't try to strip him or her of their dignity or their identity, but accept them for who they are. And that was Kyle's shining moment in my favorite episode of his from Living Single, one of the greatest TV shows of all time. But like, comment, subscribe, share, all the things are the things. Cause I'm black, y'all. Cause I'm black, y'all. And I'm black in the black, and I'm black, y'all. And I'm blah, 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 blah. Yo, cause I'm black and I'm back. And if you don't agree with anything I said, in the words of Martin, get the stepping. Peace out.